Hello and welcome back. In this video we're going to be going over factoring simple trinomials. So in the last video we went over how to do simple factoring, which applies to any kind of expression. But with factoring simple trinomials, that is only going to apply to quadratic expressions. And it is going to be very useful for converting from the standard form of a quadratic equation to the factored form. So when we say trinomials, we mean a quadratic, because you'll notice that a quadratic has three terms, the x squared term, the x term, and then the constant. So that's why we have the tri in trinomials. And then the simple refers to the fact that there is no number in front of the x squared. Or you can imagine that the number in front of the x squared is 1, in which case we would not show it. Okay, so examples of quadratic expressions that are not simple trinomials would be, for example, 2x squared plus 7x plus 12 and negative 5x squared plus 7x plus 12. So in both of those cases, we have a leading coefficient that is not equal to 1. In other words, we do actually have a number in front of the x squared. In the first case it is 2, and in the second case it is negative 5. So the question is, how do we factor a simple trinomial? What we always do is look at the number in front of the x and the number at the end. So in this case, the number in front of the x is 7, and the number at the end is 12. So those are the two numbers that we're going to be focusing on. And the idea is that we want two numbers that add up to 7 and multiply to 12. So for now, why don't we think of two numbers that add up to 7? We know that 1 and 6 add up to 7. We know that 2 and 5 add up to 7. And we know that 3 and 4 add up to 7. So we have three sets of numbers that add up to 7, and now we need to see which set of these numbers also multiply to 12. So we will multiply each of these numbers. 1 times 6 is equal to 6, 2 times 5 is equal to 10, and 3 times 4 is equal to 12. So there you go, 3 and 4 add up to 7 and multiply to 12. So 3 and 4 are the numbers that we are looking for. So once we have that, we're going to write out the following expression, where we have two pairs of brackets, each with an x in the beginning. And we are basically going to write out the numbers that we determined. In this case, the numbers that we determined are 3 and 4, so we're going to put plus 3 and plus 4. Once again, so we determined that 3 and 4 add up to 7 and multiply to give us 12, so we therefore have x plus 3 and x plus 4. So we therefore have that x squared plus 7x plus 12 is equal to x plus 3 times x plus 4. So the first equation, x squared plus 7x plus 12, is the standard form of the quadratic equation. And the second equation, x plus 3 times x plus 4, is the factored form of the quadratic equation. So why don't we do one more example? In this case we have x squared minus 8x plus 15. So once again, we need two numbers that add up to the second number and multiply to the third number. So in this case, the second number is negative 8 and the third number is 15. So if we think of numbers that add up to negative 8, we have negative 1 and negative 7, negative 2 and negative 6, negative 3 and negative 5, and negative 4 and negative 4. So once again, we can multiply each of these pairs of numbers. We have that negative 1 times negative 7 is 7, negative 2 times negative 6 is 12, negative 3 times negative 5 is 15, and negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. So there you go, we have that negative 3 times negative 5 is 15. 15 is the number that we are looking for. So the two numbers that add up to negative 8 and multiply to 15 are negative 3 and negative 5. So once again, we can write out bracket x bracket and bracket x bracket, and then we have that our two numbers are negative 3 and negative 5, so we can put x minus 3 and x minus 5. Okay, so we have that x squared minus 8x plus 15 is equal to x minus 3 and x minus 5. So in this case, we have that x squared minus 8x plus 15 is the standard form of the quadratic equation, and x minus 3 times x minus 5 is the factored form of the quadratic equation. So that is all I wanted to go over for this video. In the next video, we'll look at how to factor complex trinomials, or trinomials in which there is a number in front of the x squared other than 1. And in the video after that, we will learn about how to apply the factored form of the quadratic equation to have an easier time sketching parabolas. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.